The first thing I noticed when I look at the poster is the red eyes of the what I'm don't not sure is whether the protagonist or the antagonist. So you can see the red eyes; they really stand out at you, and it really draws attention to the character, and it creates enigma because you don't know whether, for example, they are the protagonist or the antagonist of the film.
When I look at the poster, my eyes go quickly drawn to where it says the makers from Saw and Insidious, as the sky is quite clear and then the bold black font really stands out.
The genre would easily pass for sort of supernatural horror or even maybe thriller. You can tell this by, again, the mise en scène and the iconography of the red eyes, which is totally unusual and not something you'd see in everyday life.
Yeah, I agree. Also, the background is quite a dull, dark environment, which also connotes that it's a horror film.
I think the typography used is really ordinary. I mean, it really doesn't connote anything. For example, the main title is just pretty simple. It doesn't really give you an insight into anything. It's nothing special, to be fair.
Yeah, I agree. The typography also blends in with the image, which is not good for readability, as it just
Yeah,
doesn't
probably
look.
change the t-shirt color or something
Yeah,
like
the
that.
t-shirt colour as well.
Maybe it
Yeah.
contradicts the image. So I think the image is quite good in telling you something about the narrative because you have a character pictured in front of a location, so the location's quite direct. So house, probably one that in which a family lives because a child's being portrayed, and for example the night sky, well, not the night sky, but the dull dark grey sky sort of tell you something that something negative could occur. So you can tell that something is about to happen which can contradict sort of the equilibrium that's already present.
Yeah, I agree. Also, you can see that the picture of the house is at a quite low angle, which shows that it shows the house is overtowering. But also, the picture of the boy is quite big as well, which means that he could be quite significant as well in the movie.
For me, I think the main thing that could be improved is typography. So, for example, the main title, the tagline, the pull quote. I don't really like the text used, and I don't really like the way it's portrayed on the page. For example, the pull quote is larger than the title itself, so that sort of sends contradictory messages about the film.
Yeah, I think the image could be changed as well because the shirt, the font on the shirt really contradicts the font from the building block. Also, the image of the boy looks quite plain, so it doesn't really show much of what's going to go on.
I'd probably watch a film, but that's really because I love horror films as opposed to this poster really drawing me in. I think there's a lot of contradictory text messages and colours, and it needs to be a lot more fluent if it wants to attract a wide target audience.
Yeah, the only reason I watched the movie is because of the image, how it's laid out, like the antagonist boy and the house, and the color that's been used as well.
And the first thing I noticed about the website is that the main image is exactly the same as the one used on the poster, which really tells me something about the movie that it's not got much innovation, as in it really should the images should be mixed up a bit in order to sort of tell you more about the narrative than what you already know.
What I noticed is that there's a lot of empty space on the website. So, like around the house, you can just see a lot of it, whereas it could be covered up by more font or the trailer or something.
When it comes to the social networking logos, I think the placement is pretty good. The size of it's quite relevant, but if I'm being really picky, I think the particular order used is not great. I would say most people would use Facebook and Twitter opposed to Pinterest and Instagram. So I thought I'd just make sure that the main logos are from the left to the right, as in that's what way people read.
The at sign below really is contradictory to the image as it kind of blends in with it. So probably by changing the color, it would stand out more.
You can tell bits and bobs of the narrative from the website. For example, the image being the same as the one on the poster. That sort of tells you the sort of same messages. So there's a house, most likely a family, a child. You don't know whether he's the protagonist or antagonist, and it creates enigma, but it doesn't tell you anything more than what the poster tells you. So it can't be that significant.
Yeah, I agree. Again, but with the poster, you can see that the house is towering over the boy. But again, the boy he stands out more, which again shows that the same narrative as what we could see on the poster.
After seeing the website, I probably wouldn't watch the film just because of the fact that we've already seen the poster, we've seen what it brings, but the website really doesn't bring anything more. That tells me the movie can't be so great because it hasn't got much innovation, and that's what the poster and the website tell me.
Yeah, I agree because because it's an exact copy of the poster. There's not much that you could really tell from it, and you instantly expect that it's not going to be that great.
For me, the overall house style could be massively improved. For example, little things such as the placement of the tile is just going across the forehead of the character, whereas it could be underneath them where there's a lot of free space. I think it's positioning like that, for example, isn't really the relevant places. Also, the movietickets.com logo is quite small. It's in a silly place. It could be a lot better. There's no text to go with it, and for example, the image, it does have a lot of free space around it, and it doesn't look like a very attractive or appealing website as such. So I think the image definitely needs to change. That's the main thing.
I think that the navigation bar could be improved a lot because right now the font is quite small and it's not really legible. So by having a coloured background behind it may make it stand out more, or by changing the font as you.
You could even put a drop shadow in there.
Yeah. Also, you can see that the second last one it blends in with the image a lot, which just makes it harder to read as well.